Justin Wolfers is with us. He's pretty funny, too. He's also a professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan. What did you think about this rate cut?
Brianna, first of all, I'm not funny. I'm insightful. Can we just get that out
no,
there?
You're kind of funny.
You're funny.
You're jokey.
Yeah.
It's true. Sorry.
All right. Hey, happy rate cut day. Good news. Good news, I think. But really what we have right now is Chairman Powell is at a press conference describing where the Fed's at. And I think to really understand what the Fed's done, he has this idea of something called the neutral interest rate. The neutral interest rate's when your foot is not on the brake, not on the accelerator. He thinks we're there. I think that gives some color for what the Fed's been doing. A lot of people have been saying it's been trying to goose the economy. No, it hasn't. It understood itself as having the foot off on the brake, and it's eased its foot off the brake. And I think that probably means it's going to take a fair bit of movement one way or the other to get the Fed to continue changing interest rates any further in the short run.
The Fed is stuck in a weird position right now because not only do they have incomplete or opaque data on the jobs market, but the signs that they do have show that it is lagging. And on the other hand, you have inflation that just refuses to go away. So do you think that any economic outlook that Powell presents today is reliable in the sense that it is likely to be what will happen next year, what we'll see from the Fed next year?
Two answers. Predicting the future is notoriously hard, especially about the economy. And so, of course, it'll be wrong, but the Fed will be less wrong than anyone else. And there's a slew of studies that show that. And so what we heard Powell say today was actually two sources of worry. He looks deeply worried. Either something's going wrong with the economy or something's going wrong with his Botox. On the one hand, he said that he's worried that inflation is above target and it might stay there. And on the other, we see the unemployment rate seems to be rising. And monetary policy can't fix both of these problems. At some deep level, the problems are much more from the White House, tariffs and the like, and the Fed can't fix everything.
And Powell said that he believes the effects of tariffs on inflation will be relatively short-lived. Do you think that's true?
He said that and he hoped it. And if you looked very closely, he also sort of tapped the ground 3 times and got out his wand. He's hoping that's true. This wouldn't be the first time we've heard someone say inflation is going to be transitory. Our economic models say that when you raise costs, which is what tariffs do, that causes businesses to raise their prices, and that should be it, just a one-off adjustment. We also saw how that played out through COVID, and it turns out when economists say transitory, it can be a whole lot less transitory than people in Washington like to believe. In economics, transitory is a few years. In Washington, it's a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been transitory inflation for about 4 years now. Also, notably, new data shows that last quarter, workers' wages and benefits rose at the slowest pace in more than 4 years. Why do you think that is?
Well, because we have a slowing economy. The unemployment rate has been below 4% previously. It's been drifting up over the past couple of years, and it's drifted up throughout 2025. So it's a tougher year for workers. If you just talk and ask around, or you can look at the statistics, there are fewer people being hired. There's also not so many people being fired right now. One of my favorite ways of thinking about are workers confident about the economy is to ask, do they have the courage to quit a bad job? Hopefully believing there's something better out there. And what we see right now is that quits are very low. So that's another way of saying workers are feeling stuff out there is pretty tough. If they're not going to quit a bad job, maybe they'll stick around even if pay isn't rising.
Justin Wolfers, great to get your perspective and your humor as well. Whether you like it or not, you're a funny guy.
Yeah. Botox jokes. I didn't have that one on my bingo card, but I'm glad you told one. It was good.